Most people have never heard of Robin Zeng. He doesn't dominate headlines. He doesn't chase celebrity interviews. And he doesn't stand on global stages unveiling sleek new cars. Yet his technology quietly powers millions of vehicles across the planet. From crowded streets in China to highways in Europe and North America, electric cars rely on the very product he built his empire around. He doesn't design the cars. He doesn't advertise them. But without him, the electric vehicle revolution would slow down dramatically. This is the story of Robin Zeng, the 56-year-old Hong Kong-based billionaire worth $37.9 billion, who built one of the most important companies in the automotive world, not by manufacturing cars, but by mastering the batteries that make them move. Robin Zeng, also known as Zeng Yukum, made his fortune in batteries, specifically lithium-ion batteries that power electric vehicles. While other billionaires built social media platforms, luxury brands, or entertainment empires, Zeng focused on something far less glamorous but infinitely more essential. Batteries are the silent engine of the electric era. They determine how far a vehicle can travel, how fast it charges, how long it lasts, and how safe it is. In today's automotive industry, cars are increasingly described as batteries on wheels. That shift in thinking transformed battery manufacturers from background suppliers into central power players. Robin Zeng understood this transformation long before much of the world caught on. Born in 1968, Robin Zeng studied engineering, beginning with marine engineering, before later advancing his technical and business education. His early career did not revolve around electric vehicles because, at the time, the idea of widespread electric transportation seemed distant. Lithium-ion batteries were primarily used in small electronics, such as laptops and consumer devices. However, Zeng saw beyond that limited application. He believed that improvements in battery efficiency, scale, and cost would one day make electric transportation viable. While others focused on faster phones and more compact electronics, he envisioned powering entire vehicles and, eventually, entire energy systems. In 2011, he founded Contemporary Amperex Technology Co., Limited, widely known as CATL. That decision marked a turning point not only in his career, but in the global battery industry. CATL began as a battery supplier in China, a country that would soon become the largest electric vehicle market in the world. Zeng's strategy was not to compete with automakers, but to align with them. Instead of trying to build his own car brand, he focused on becoming the essential partner that every electric car manufacturer would need. By concentrating on research, manufacturing scale, and long-term contracts, CATL rapidly expanded. As electric vehicles began gaining serious momentum in the 2010s, CATL was ready. Over time, CATL grew into the world's largest electric vehicle battery manufacturer by market share. That dominance was not accidental. The EV battery industry is fiercely competitive and technologically demanding. Companies must invest heavily in research and development, secure access to critical raw materials such as lithium, nickel, and cobalt, and operate massive manufacturing facilities capable of producing high volumes with precision. Falling behind even slightly in energy density, charging speed, or safety can mean losing contracts worth billions. Zeng pushes teams to innovate constantly, focusing on improving battery performance while lowering production costs. This balance of scale and innovation allowed CATL to maintain leadership even as competitors from South Korea, Europe, and the United States entered the race. The timing of CATL's rise aligned perfectly with the global shift toward electrification. Governments around the world began implementing policies aimed at reducing emissions and encouraging electric vehicle adoption. Consumers grew more aware of environmental concerns and showed increasing interest in cleaner transportation. Automakers responded by investing billions into developing electric models. At the center of all these changes stood one critical component: the battery. Without efficient, affordable, high-capacity batteries, electric vehicles cannot succeed at scale. Robin Zeng positioned CATL precisely at that bottleneck, the point in the supply chain that every automaker depends on. Much of Robin Zeng's $37.9 billion fortune is tied to CATL's growth and public market success. When the company went public, investor enthusiasm surrounding electric vehicles drove its valuation sharply upward. At one point, CATL became one of the most valuable companies in China. Every increase in electric vehicle sales globally strengthens demand for batteries. Every climate-focused policy reinforces the long-term outlook for battery manufacturers. In effect, the broader the world's commitment to electrification, the more central companies like CATL become. Zeng didn't just build a company, he built foundational infrastructure for the electric age. Despite his immense wealth and influence, Robin Zeng remains relatively low profile. He does not cultivate the kind of public persona that many technology founders embrace. Instead, he focuses on supply chains, factory expansions, research advancements, and strategic partnerships. He understands that controlling battery production means holding significant leverage in the automotive industry. For more than a century, internal combustion engines defined vehicle performance. Today, battery chemistry determines range, acceleration, charging speed, and overall capability. In this new reality, battery suppliers have become some of the most powerful players in the industry. Operating from Hong Kong, one of Asia's most important financial hubs, Zeng oversees a global operation. CATL has expanded internationally, building facilities closer to major automotive markets to secure long-term partnerships and streamline logistics. Battery supply chains have become strategically important, with countries recognizing that securing reliable battery production is critical to maintaining competitiveness in the electric vehicle era. As a result, companies like CATL sit at the intersection of industry, economics, and international strategy. Zeng's influence extends beyond business. It touches the broader transformation of global transportation. However, the battery industry faces complex challenges. Production depends on raw materials that fluctuate in price and availability. Mining operations raise environmental concerns. Supply chains can be affected by geopolitical tensions. At the same time, technological competition remains intense. Companies are racing to develop next-generation battery chemistries that offer higher energy density, improved safety, and faster charging. Zeng's strategy continues to emphasize heavy investment in research and large-scale manufacturing capacity. He believes long-term dominance requires staying ahead in both innovation and efficiency. Those who have worked with Robin Zeng describe him as analytical, disciplined, and intensely focused on long-term strategy. He is known for demanding high standards while thinking in decades rather than quarters. Instead of reacting to short-term market swings, he invests in production capacity and research that will define the next generation of energy storage. His approach reflects a deep understanding that the electrification of transportation is not a passing trend, but a structural shift in the global economy. The influence of CATL extends beyond electric vehicles alone. The same battery technologies used in cars are increasingly important for energy storage systems that stabilize renewable power grids. As solar and wind energy production grows, efficient storage solutions become essential to balance supply and demand. In this sense, Zeng's company is positioned not only at the center of transportation transformation, but also within the broader transition toward cleaner energy infrastructure. Robin Zeng's wealth of $37.9 billion places him among the richest individuals in Asia and the world. Yet his fortune is tied directly to one of the most significant industrial shifts of our time. While electric vehicles aim to reduce emissions, battery production itself carries environmental costs and complex supply considerations. The global transition to electrification involves trade-offs and challenges. Companies like CATL operate within that complexity, striving to improve efficiency and sustainability while meeting surging demand. At 56 years old, Robin Zeng remains actively engaged in guiding his company through this rapidly evolving landscape. The coming decade will likely determine whether CATL maintains its dominant position as new competitors and technologies emerge. Advances in solid-state batteries and alternative chemistries could reshape the industry once again. Global supply chain dynamics may shift. Demand for electric vehicles will continue to grow, but competition will intensify. What is clear is that Robin Zeng did not build a flashy consumer brand. He built the core technology powering the electric era. He recognized early that batteries would become the foundation of modern mobility and positioned his company accordingly. Every time an electric vehicle moves silently down the road, it represents not just automotive innovation, but also the chemistry, engineering, and industrial scale that companies like CATL provide. Robin Zeng may not be widely known outside business and industry circles, but his impact is substantial. From engineering student to battery magnate, from supplier to global industry leader, he built an empire rooted in science, scale, and strategic foresight. As the world continues charging toward an electric future, the influence of the battery king from Hong Kong will likely remain at the center of that transformation.